This is right before the Great Depression, and that's where he heard that excitement of that sound that was different than what he had played, you know, in the hillbilly bands and everything. He also knew the forms. If we'd go into Blue Moon of Kentucky here and play it, it would be like in a hard 3/4. Turn around 5 or 6 songs later and be playing Kentucky Waltz, and it was almost like he had a minuet feel to it. We'll play that in a minute. But here's one of the ones he would do, because he knew this thing on rhythm. He would play that march rhythm underneath when it da-da-da-da thing, and then when he went to the other, he'd just go into the straight 2/4 when he got the second one. Yeah, it was almost like that. And it's like I said, now play Kentucky Waltz with me. Play the rhythm to that.
Looks like D.
E.
E? Really? Okay.
Yeah, Kentucky Waltz.
Okay.
I thought that's what it was. You want to play in D?
No.
All right. It's just that hard. That's how I would do the banjo roll to try to complement what he was doing.
But there's another element in what you're doing that I'm hearing that I feel in waltz time is You ever watch people dancing like old-fashioned waltz? Like you see them on TV doing it, ballroom dancing?
Yeah.
You notice the movement they make when they're going around the floor?
Gliding.
There's on the second
Yeah.
beat, there's a lift.
Yeah.
Yep. Yep. So there's lift in it, right in the middle of it. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. I used to, you can hear that in Bill's playing. He doesn't go.
Right.
Those two are not even. The first one is like, pop, pop. So it's. I mean, I'm exaggerating it to try to show you where it is, but if you listen to it, you can hear there's an accent right there. They're not whack, 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 whack. It has life in it. It has lift.
Those are the subtleties that old man had that, you know, the rest of us just sort of hung on for dear life, you know. Because it was, you know, he couldn't really explain himself very well. And that was a real problem. I had a couple of episodes with him on the bus where I'd been up all night, probably hiring a kite, sitting up there, and I'd be playing on the couch over there. And we were running down the road one night, and I was trying to play Stony Lonesome because it was so violent. It came out in 1958, and that was the worst year of his life, as far as I can tell. Ed Mayfield died that year. Katelyn sued him for divorce. He was audited by the IRS. It was just, everything was going wrong everywhere, and his career was just darn near down the tubes at that point. Cash had taken him out to the West Coast for a tour, front act on the tour, and 3 nights they sent him home for being booed off the stage. You know, his career is in a pretty rough spot. And on top of that, he had pretty much exhausted that pool of Celtic descended southeastern musicians that could help him express himself, with the exception of Kenny Baker and Bobby Hicks. I mean, he's got, who's that guy, Carl Butler coming in playing rhythm guitar for him on some of his stuff, for goodness sakes, you know. And Carl and Pearl done good in their little act, but it sure didn't belong where Bill Monroe was.
Hubert Davis told me him and Pee Wee went to see Bill in North Carolina. There were 8 people there in the auditorium.
Yeah.
And half of them got up and left.
But
Before the first set was over with, turned around waving at Bill, saying, "Bye, Bill." Bye.
well, I was sitting there trying to play that Stony Lonesome because it was such a violent tune. And I listened to him playing Sally Joe during those same sessions with Doug Kershaw back there frailing on that guitar. And he sounded like a banshee screaming to me. The way he was, I mean, it was a painful scream that he was doing on that thing. But this sad thing, and I looked over and I said, "Mr. Bill, how'd you come to write that tune?" "Oh, well, I never wrote a tune in my life." I don't understand. I don't understand. What are you talking? Well, you know that music's in the air around us, in the air out there around us all the time. I just happened to be the first one to pull it out. What he said. Another morning, we were riding along, and I kept, there was this thing in that thing that you and I did, that, but one that had a fingering technique. Anyhow, like that. So I'm over here playing that tune, and I get to that one part, and I'm stopping every time. I'm just going all to hell in a handbasket because I'm trying to figure out what you do to make it work. I mean, look at, I mean, what he's got right there on that mandolin open is from right there for me. That opens 3. Now, how am I going to get? Here's his tuning on his mandolin. That's an octave. 3 notes, 3 half steps less than 2 octaves. He's got with just an open tuner, and then I got to figure out. Anyhow, I'm sitting there doing that, and I get to the same, you know, to that place every time, and I just stop and start working on it. "How come you stopping in that place at every time?" I said, "Well, Mr. Bill, I'm trying to develop fingering techniques to where I can actually play the melody." He said, "Well, the music don't stop just because you made a mistake. And I got to thinking about that, and that's what I try to do now. Most of the stuff I do now is completely solo. And it's hard as heck to do that on a banjo, especially with just a, clams even a young man gets out of stuff, much less the stuff that comes out of me now. But
Play your
what's that?
Ebenezer.
Old Ebenezer?
Yes, sir.
Well, if you ever
Might as well
listen,
play that lick.
if you,
A few
well,
times.
if I can do it, I don't know.
Yes, you can.
I
Come on. Because you're a powerful banjo player.
Oh, yeah.
How psychedelic is that for a thing for
If
him
you
to
ever,
say?
it's that thing, I never wrote a tune that's in the air.
Uh-huh.
That brought back to me some of the Eastern philosophy that I'd had a chance to look at a point in my life when I started looking around at the Eastern religions and philosophies and everything from all over the world, trying to do this. And it sounded like more like an Eastern mystic than it did, a Western trained musician. But if you ever listen to my grounded, centered, focused record, I put 3 things together out there to try to make a point. And I did this version of Space Captain and Doing My Time, a Joe Cocker tune, and I trade that in, and I paraphrased Doing My Time a little bit on this old rock pile with a ball and chain. My social security number is my name, Lord, and when I done my time on the end. But I thought Sammy Sheeler, I could play with him the same way I had Courtney Johnson, but I couldn't. It was a whole different feel, like what Mike was talking about in the fields and the rhythms. So after Sammy plays that first break on Doing My Time, you'll hear harmonic in the next verse of it that Dudley does. And after that harmonic, it's me, and I stacked like 4 banjo tracks.
Yeah.
3-part harmony on it. I did everything that Leon Russell had taught me about expanding the sound out in between the speakers. You can literally hear it. It just sounds like the sound opens up like that. The biggest rock and rollin'est sound that I could make. And one of the first things that we recorded was this old Dangerfield, or old Ebenezer Dangerfield medley we're getting ready to do for you right now. I've got David Greer's rhythm guitar track for it and Mike Bubb's bass track on it. But I wanted this. I got the rock and rollingest sound I could get. I tried to blow the doors off that, like 4 banjos and all this stuff. David Greer counted off the Golden West, which played right after this interlude of us playing this. It was a clean count. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, boom. It was a clean start on the record. It sounds like we chopped the front of it. It was a clean start. And when it hit you with the dynamic of a Louisville strut slugger coming right in between your eyes for that. And the only thing I did, it had every bit the power. You Doing My Time, that little short interlude that we did, and then that monster come back right after that was even more powerful than everything I could put in it. And all I did was took out 3 banjo players and added an 85-year-old mandolin player. That's what the dynamic of his music would do. And I'm going to tell my last little tale now, because I'm doing this thing up here this week. I usually make a supreme fool out of myself when I go around these things because of the bluegrass Nazi that I am. But I came down here to share with you because of the job this man did. He sat right in front of Bill Monroe and did the most selfless job of keeping that man on track and on his music. Bill was good for about an hour to an hour and a half, and then he'd start drifting and flirting with the little girls that I brought in and all that other stuff. And when he'd start to drift 1 inch, Mike would subtly do something to bring him back in track with where he was. And I never saw such a selfless job out of a musician in my life than what Mike did that day. And he's, as much as anything else that there is in the world, he is just as much responsible for Monroe's performance on that thing because of the way he guided him through it. And he did it in a way that Monroe didn't take offense to. And that right there was hard as hell, because you just tried to show something that I can't do. But anyhow,
I knew the tunes, and I could tell that he was starting to forget them. He say, well, how does it go?
Just go right there and then you sit there and just play.
That starts with, does it start with Ebenezer?
Starts with that one. I see.